The AFC Championship game is just 2 days away, with the Kansas City Chiefs set to face off against the Baltimore Ravens, and the Chiefs unfortunately got a bit banged up in the divisional round with a couple of tough losses due to players already ruled out, as well as a couple of players listed as questionable that are less than ideal. So we got to get into the details of that, then talk about the greatness of Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, the game being rigged in the Chiefs' favor, and much freaking more. But first, how about those? First up, Chiefs Bids is back with another giveaway featuring this signed Travis Kelce Super Bowl 57 Duke ball, but more on that in a bit because we got to talk about something that's pretty crazy. It's borderline miraculous, in fact, what we as Chiefs Kingdom have been watching unfold before our very eyes since Patrick Mahomes became the starter. Prior to Mahomes, the Chiefs' postseason record was 9-18. Yes, 9 wins, 18 losses. But since 2018, the team is now 22-21 in the playoffs because Mahomes is 13-3. And to show how insane that really is, he's currently tied for 6th with Ben Roethlisberger and Brett Favre for the most quarterback playoff wins all time. Big Ben played 18 seasons in the NFL, though. Brett Favre played 16. Meanwhile, Mahomes is in just his 6th year as a starter. I can't even say that with a straight face because of how insane it is. And if KC is able to get the W against a tough Ravens team this Sunday, it's going to move Patrick Mahomes to 3rd overall in playoff wins, tied with Peyton Manning, John Elway, and Terry Bradshaw. Manning, though, played 13 seasons, Elway played 16, and Bradshaw played 14. Again, Mahomes is in his 6th season as a starter. So yeah, it's safe to say that Mahomes is off to a career that has never been seen before, a trajectory of a career that has never been seen before in the NFL and may never be seen again. So enjoy the ride while it's here, Chiefs Kingdom.
What he has grown into is my kids' generation's version of Tom Brady. Mahomes seems to be the same level of awesomeness for several years in a row, and the only thing that changes is our perception of him because of him continuously getting to the AFC Championship game year after year after year.
He wants to go out and play who's ever the best to see how he matches up. And he always seems to play his best in the big moments.
I already believe that Patrick Mahomes plays the position better than anyone's played it. He doesn't have the accolades to be able to call him the greatest ever, but he doesn't need 7.
You've already legacied out right now. You're already in the Hall of Fame. If you retire now, you're in.
I mean, he's a great quarterback. Definitely a Hall of Famer. It's not even it's a no-brainer. He's definitely a Hall of Famer.
All right, did you guys know that the NFL is getting desperate? In fact, they want Taylor Swift's fan base to watch the Super Bowl so badly so they can make as much money as humanly possible that they are trying their damnedest to get the Chiefs to win on Sunday. At least that's what Warren Sharpe of Sharpe Analytics wants everyone to think, because this week he posted an article that dives into detail about how the referee assigned to the Chiefs and Ravens game gives a massive edge toward road teams, and the Chiefs are playing in Baltimore. They're the road team, and with this referee, road teams have the #1 highest win rate, and he penalizes home teams in ways no other ref does, and that ref is Sean Smith. Sharpe's article then goes on to detail some of Smith's tendencies and the percentage of times road teams win with him calling the game versus other refs. And after reading it, my reaction was honestly one of pure joy, because anytime the NFL wants to rig more games in favor of the Chiefs to get them more rings, count me in. However, Timo Risk of PFF broke down that if you simulated the average percentage of home teams beating the spread at a rate of 50%, which is where you want it, versus away teams against the spread, the median record for a ref is 18-28, which means Sean Smith is just 1 below that median, and Timo ran 50,000 simulations to prove that referees don't impact the home team's result like Warren Sharpe is insinuating. Timo then dives into the penalty issues that Sharpe brought up, and the link to the full details of what he broke down is in the description. If you want to get into the weeds about it, I'm going to kind of gloss over that. But he basically concluded there is not some high-level conspiracy going on here. Timo even said to be cautious when someone touts an allegation based on statistics, and that, if anything, a lopsided record like this for Sean Smith should have him favoring the home team or wanting to, because referees want to be as balanced as they can be in their records. And on the note of the NFL intentionally assigning Sean Smith to the Chiefs game, 10 different refs have officiated the 10 playoff games so far, and they had Sean Smith saved for later in the playoffs without even knowing that the Chiefs would make it that far. So with the excuse train already piling up in case the Ravens lose, I'm here to say that you can throw your tinfoil hats away in the trash on this one. But nice try, Warren. I mean, seriously, the ref thing regarding KC and them always getting the calls or always getting favored is definitely entertaining to me, considering the fact that they have the most flagged player in the NFL since 2015 on their team, Jawan Taylor, who led the league in total penalties, and then they have the most flagged defensive player in the NFL on their team as well, and that is Allegretti Sneed. But hey, nobody cares about that. They just look for reasons to discredit the fact that the Chiefs win more than any other team in the league because they've been that good year in and year out, a feat which is nearly impossible to do. All right, next up, Chiefs Bids is back with another partnered giveaway featuring this signed Travis Kelce Super Bowl 57 Duke Ball. And where you're going to want to go for your chance to potentially win this is to the official Chiefs app in the bids section, which is where Chiefs Bids has all kinds of signed memorabilia from former and current Chiefs players, as well as game-worn items you can bid on. This week, they have a mystery box featuring one signed jersey from a bunch of potential Chiefs players, as well as one unsigned limited edition AFC Championship commemorative ticket. On top of that, they have footballs signed by Creed Humphrey, Dwayne Bowe, Patrick Mahomes, and even this game-used ball that's signed and inscribed by Rashee Rice. They have a bunch of other items as well, like signed jerseys, photos, pylons, and the list goes on that gets updated every single week. So make sure to check out the app, which is exactly where you need to go for your chance to win this Travis Kelce signed Super Bowl 57 Duke Ball. When in the bids portion of the app, just hit the filter button, then select offer type, then giveaways, and the football will immediately pop up for you. And if you don't want to use the app, even though it's the easiest and most preferred way, you can also click the link at the top of my description to go to the website and enter that way as well. Either way you choose, make sure to fill out your profile, including a shipping address and card info, because the winner will have to pay for shipping, which is still an absolute steal for this signed Super Bowl 57 Duke Ball from Travis freaking Kelce. And last thing, the winner will be selected on Sunday, game day, so make sure to hurry on over for your chance to win. With the AFC Championship game being only 2 days away, it's getting down to the final details as both of these teams finish their preparation to face off against each other. Allegretti Sneed gave credit to Spags and the safeties as the main factors of why the Chiefs haven't really given up many big plays this year, something they hope continues in this conference championship. Cornerback Trent McDuffie said the secondary needs to keep eyes on Zay Flowers, an explosive rookie who runs really good routes. They've got to get hands on him at the line of scrimmage because he's one of those dudes who can really make an impact, and that's why McDuffie said they put a lot of respect on him. Defensive end Mike Dana said containing Lamar is going to take all 11 defenders out there doing their part. Getting him down is not easy, and they're going to have to work together as a unit in order to try and stop him. Lamar is not only elusive as hell, but he's got a cannon of an arm that Dana thinks people sleep on. It's not just Lamar, though. As defensive end George Karlaftis shared, they don't really have any holes on offense, if any. They have a great line, great running backs, a great QB, obviously, and great receivers, and that is why they are in the position they are right now. Mahomes sort of echoed that sentiment as well about this Ravens team, saying this is the best team they've had to go up against this season, and he's looking forward to the challenge.
I think for us, it's just the challenge of going up against the best is what motivates you. I mean, they got the best defense, they got the MVP on offense, they have a great special teams unit, and they were the best football team throughout the entire season. So it motivates you to, in order to win the Super Bowl, you got to beat the best teams, and this is the best team that we've played so far this year, and it'll be a great challenge for us.
Then, someone in the media during the Chiefs pressers today said that when the Chiefs blitz, they've only given up one positive play on a QB scramble, I believe, which is an insane stat, but honestly, a huge key to being able to limit the scrambling magic of Lamar Jackson. Spags has to mix it up, keep Lamar on his tippies, and not allow him to know who is blitzing, from where, and when. There needs to be a lot of window dressing, and Spags has to fool the eyes of Lamar pre-snap as much as humanly possible. And someone I expect to play as great as humanly possible is defensive tackle Chris Jones, who literally has $1 million on the line in this game. Based on his reworked contract after his holdout, Chris Jones would get another $1 million if he made first team All-Pro, which he did indeed accomplish, and then the Chiefs also need to make it to the Super Bowl. Therefore, I'm listing Chris Jones as the official X X factor in this game. He has a milli on the line after all, and I'm sure he wants paid. So go ahead and ball out Chris Jones, please, and thank you. The last thing I'll note about the Ravens is that tight end Mark Andrews has been activated off of IR, which means he's set to play for the first time since he was sidelined with that ankle injury on November 16th. So if the Chiefs defense didn't already have enough things to worry about, there's another one. My hope is Andrews is rusty enough, which leads to some sort of miscommunication in the game and results in a turnover when he's targeted. I would like that a lot, but it could be wishful thinking. From here, we got to get into this final injury report because there's some not so great news for the Chiefs on it at the moment. First up, you have 4 players listed as out. 2 are not surprising at all, with those being wide receiver Sky Moore and defensive tackle Derrick Nnadi, a guy I still think could go on IR tomorrow. Talking about Nnadi, with another player from the practice squad getting signed to the 53 if needs be. Well, it wasn't tomorrow, but it was right before I exported this video. The Chiefs announced that they placed defensive tackle Derrick Nnadi on IR, and with one spot clear on the 53, they signed practice squad player linebacker Darris to an active roster contract, which is probably there to have him in case Willie Gay is not good to go. I'm not really sure what that says about Willie Gay Jr. In fact, it kind of concerns me, but hey, better to be safe than sorry, because teams can only elevate 2 players from the practice squad, before these games. So if they go ahead and sign Darris to the roster, that leaves another spot open on the practice squad for a call-up to happen for somebody else. Then the third guy listed as out is left guard Joe Toney, who some were really hoping that he could play after all, but even when his MRI revealed a pec strain, which was the best case scenario of all of them, by the way, I still knew it was a long shot for him to return for this matchup. If the Chiefs pull off a win against Baltimore, he could more realistically play in the Super Bowl, but as of right now, the next man up is Nick Allegretti, who is a very solid backup left guard and could be a starter on several other teams. So in Allegretti we trust and have to trust for this upcoming game. The fourth and last player listed as out is offensive tackle Prince Tega Wanogho, a player I said in my last video could very well get activated off of IR for some valuable tackle depth, but it looks like even though he fully participated all week, the Chiefs opted to not bring him back onto the roster. The reason for that is most likely because the rookie tackle Wanye Morris cleared concussion protocol and is good to play this Sunday, which is great news. So my best guess is they opened up Prince Tega Wanogho's 21-day window to return, just in case Wanye couldn't clear protocol. Then on top of the 4 players being ruled out, 4 were listed as questionable, which has a couple of concerns in there for me. Safety Mike Edwards is hoping to be able to clear concussion protocol like Wanye did this week, and it looks like he's trending in the right direction. Wednesday, he didn't practice. Thursday, he was limited, and then Friday, he was a full go. And man, if the secondary can get Mike Edwards back, that is a huge win. The other player listed as questionable that wasn't very concerning to me is wide receiver Kadarius Toney, who's been dealing with a lingering hip issue now for a month and a half and has missed the last 5 games. That's why I would be 0% surprised if he didn't play in this game, and then wouldn't even be surprised if he was not on the team next season, which is a convo for another day, but either way, we shall see if Toney does indeed play, and if he does, it'll most likely be in a very limited role. Now, the other 2 players listed as questionable are indeed a bit more troubling as far as injuries are concerned. The first is linebacker Willie Gay Jr., who is dealing with neck stiffness, with Andy Reid noting it flared up at practice last week and got worse during the divisional game, which is why he never returned. Then this week, you could see he was limited Wednesday and Thursday, but did not participate at all today, which seems to me like Willie is trending downwards unless they're just trying to be ultra cautious with him on Friday. Andy did say his neck is getting better, but the fact that he also mentioned in his presser that it hurts Willie to turn his head is concerning and would definitely affect his play out there on the football field. Part of the reason why this one hurts is because Willie would most likely be the spy for Lamar Jackson, and was indeed the spy for Josh Allen until he had to come out of that game. Then finally, the last player listed as questionable is running back Isiah Pacheco, who is dealing with a toe injury that I can only guess was sustained in the Bills game, and because of that, he didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday and was just a limited participant today. Earlier this week, though, Pacheco said he was indeed playing, but it got me wondering, how much could this toe injury affect his performance, especially considering he's barely practiced at all this week? So I reached out to Dr. Jesse Morris of the Fantasy Doctors, who thinks this is a turf toe injury, which is a spraining of the ligaments in there.
The big toe is the balance center of the foot, and responsible for explosiveness. So not exactly what you'd like to see in a running back. Now, remember with Mahomes a couple years in the Super Bowl, he was really, really immobile. He couldn't move a whole lot. He was hobbling the whole game. He probably had a grade 2, so a much more severe case than what Pacheco is dealing with here. But the difference is Mahomes doesn't really have to move a whole lot and doesn't have to cut and run and stop and start, whereas Pacheco is really expected to do that. So I do expect a little bit of a performance dip and a little bit of re-injury risk for Pacheco as a result, because while they will probably put a carbon fiber insert into his shoe, the stability of that toe is just not quite the same. He will play, he will be relatively effective, but he might have a little bit of burst issues. It may or may not be relevant, but I think we will see him on the field, and overall, he should be the bell cow. They may give some to CEH to give him a little work. Let's hope he doesn't suffer any re-injuries or worsening of injuries.
Pacheco is also dealing with an ankle issue, and Dr. Jesse goes on to say that if it was a high ankle, that would probably have been reported, so the ankle shouldn't be as big of a deal, though of course he won't be 100% on that either. And as you heard in that video, it looks like Pacheco will most likely play, but the ultimate question is, how much will this affect his explosiveness overall? We certainly need every bit we can get because this Ravens defense is the real deal. Anyway, big shout out to Dr. Jesse for the video. Make sure to follow him on X/Twitter for all kinds of solid injury updates around the league, as well as some pretty solid fantasy football advice as well from time to time. Now, everyone else on the injury report looks good to go, which includes L'Jarius Sneed, who was limited all week, but that's nothing new for him. He's going to play and lock people down. I have no doubt about it. As far as the Ravens injury report is concerned, much, much, much smaller. Mark Andrews is on there, but looks set to play, with cornerbacks Marlon Humphrey calf and Rock Ya-Sin knee listed as questionable. Then wide receiver Tylan Wallace knee is also questionable, with the only player listed as doubtful being linebacker Del'Shawn Phillips. And with all that being said, let me know your thoughts on this injury report for Kansas City. The list is long as the season is late. Who concerns you the most on there? Whether it's one of the guys already ruled out like Joe Toney, or maybe somebody listed as questionable like Willie Gay or Isiah Pacheco. And then why does this worry you so much? Let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?